Hello and welcome everyone to Freedom, Not Tyranny. I'm your host, David Torres. This is a show about you, about your rights, your freedom. A different show. A show about big government versus little government. A show about your Second Amendment rights. A show about your freedom, your rights to vote. A show that involves how to keep yourself independent. Your rights to do what you feel is necessary for you and your family. This is what this show is all about. I hope you enjoy it. Freedom, not tyranny. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Freedom, Not Tyranny. I'm your host, David Torres, and today I got a personal friend that I love like a brother, Lindwood Holland, and he's going to be with me today to talk about some of the issues that are going on. Lindwood is well versed on political and non-political activities and things that are going on within the whole country, actually. But he's a man of vast intelligence and sight. So it's going to be interesting to hang out with my brother for a little while and just pass the time, talk about some of the ugliness of what's going on that people are not realizing and they're being smoked. So check this out because it's going to be very interesting, a couple of different episodes. And at the end of the day, I have a couple announcements, personal announcements that I have to let everybody know about. So let's start out really early. Lindwood, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here, Dave.
Okay, and it's a freestyle here. You know how it is. There's no worries. You don't have no restrictions here. You just be yourself, my man.
All right, that's
All right.
the way I like it. Freedom, Freedom.
I love having you around, my man. All right, let's get to it. This is going to be an interesting afternoon. Let's start out with crime. Danny, we're starting out with crime today? Starting out with crime. I mean, there has been a spree of crime in the colleges, and I'm going to tell you, I have some serious issues with this. I think the first one that we have, Lindwood, is Ohio, where they found 4 students dead in the dorm.
I recently heard about that.
That was so ugly. On their campus on Sunday, and nobody really heard of what was going on. And it's tragic because, when you're finding out things that are happening the last couple of times in colleges and schools and Temple here in Philadelphia. I mean, look at all the stuff that's going on Broad Street around Temple. They're not secure. Kids are getting hurt. We don't send our kids for this.
No,
The crime keeps increasing across the country,
steadily.
and nobody's saying the right things. These four students that were found dead on Sunday, it's in one of the universities in Ohio. It's tragic. And then we move on to the second kid in the university who shot 3?
That was
right?
in Virginia, right? The football players, right?
The football player.
Yeah, in University
in
of Virginia.
Virginia.
Yeah.
And check out his picture that they put up here. Now, they really made him look mean,
But that's,
uncut, unclear, the whole bit. And he wasn't like that. He was nothing like that when you looked at him. He was clean cut, 22-year-old.
the first picture that we saw looked nothing like that.
No.
The first
It was
picture,
what they
you
were
would think
showing.
it was like an honor student,
Right.
A plus, the whole 9 yards. So.
Yep. But the thing about strange with this case, as opposed to the first one, is that in his case, there were flags and warnings, and nobody followed up on it.
Which is the case that happens in most of these situations. I mean, if you look at the trend, the violence moves from here to there. What we just had a couple months ago, a tragedy in a high school.
Yeah.
And now it's elevated to the colleges. So, I mean, these are the ones we're hearing about. Let's imagine the ones we're not hearing about.
Exactly. These are the three prominent football players who died, and there
Such
was
a shame.
actually, I think, other people who were wounded, and they're not. But they're not talking about this. This is the part that drives me crazy. Okay, these are kids snatched out of where they're not hanging on corners. They're not into robbing places and stealing and beating people up. I mean, that crime is gone almost untouched, and the DAs in every area are ridiculous. But you look at these three guys, there's rumors, it's just rumors, that he was being teased. But there's got to be something else going on when you had these warnings. But here's what gets to me. You don't hear nothing about this young man shooting these other three people.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't hear nothing about the other college kids. But this man, and I hate to say this, I wonder if it was somebody white that shot them three guys on the bus. Do you think it would have came out different?
Of course. I think it would have came out different. You know, the elevation of crime and the magnitude of which these juveniles, because these are still young people, you got to think about it. They're adolescent age and they're committing crimes like this. It just kind of makes you wonder, where is it coming from? You know, there's a foundation for everything.
Yeah.
Where's this foundation being laid that these kids have this kind of animosity towards each other, hatred towards each other, where they will kill you at the drop of a dime?
But to think about it, like you and me, we go everywhere together.
Mhm.
We hang out. You
Yeah.
be in my house, I be in
Yeah.
your house.
So you know,
We do everything together. And it's not religion with us. It's just the love for one another. But these kids, if you look at it, over here in Philadelphia alone, in the Temple area, we got a spree of home invasions on these college kids
That's bad.
and girls.
That's bad.
And they're being assaulted.
And not only that, it escalated to hostage situations.
Yep.
Now, these people perpetrating these kind of crimes, are they aware of the sentences that goes with the crimes that they're committing?
Well, the problem
do
is
they
that
care?
they're not. No, but the problem is that they're not being held accountable.
Bingo.
They're not being held. They're performing the crime. They go in front of the DA, and the judge and the DA lets them off.
Well,
So to them, it's okay. What about the victims?
I think it's a normal progression of the way they were brought up. Now, I'm not going to say this to all people because I don't want to stereotype, but we know some mothers have spoiled their sons to the point that they can do no wrong in their eyes. But the reality sets place when these guys go out and do these crimes thinking that their mother can protect them because she's shown them that badge throughout their life.
Because you really have two separate issues. The young man that shot these three people,
Mhm.
okay, was a straight A student.
Straight A.
Was not a bum in the streets, was not a thug dealing drugs, was not somebody just rolling around robbing people, beating up people in the railroads, and underneath subway systems, or beating people up on the train and buses. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's two different, completely people.
So do you think, like, maybe this guy was hazed, bullied,
Hazed, bullied,
tortured,
and
you know?
there were flags up,
Mm.
and the system failed those three people.
Well, you know, Dave, when we were growing up, we had adults to watch situations
Yeah.
and put fires out. I think some of these adults that are over kids now are just there. They might have a fear of, retaliation from the kids or something. But
Might
I don't
be.
think this guy was like that. Not a straight A
Yeah.
student, not a...
Yes, something snapped. This is different. What's happening with the Temple students and the beating up of people? They just had I forgot to tell Danny about it to get it, Now they're riding around in mopeds. Did you see it, Danny?
Can't
They're
make
riding
this
around
up.
in mopeds while they're driving on the sidewalk, and you move to get away. They're yanking the pocketbooks off of the girls.
Yeah, they did that. I heard that.
And
yeah.
they're dragging them. If they don't let go, they're dragging them out.
Oh my God.
I mean, look at the guy that pushed the guy, the student, in the subway system.
Down the train tracks. Yeah.
He ran into him like a football player, hit him, and knocked him over into the train tracks.
Are these people living a fantasy?
No,
It just can't be real.
But you think about. I look at it and I say, you know, there's a lot of mental health issues because I got a mental health background.
We do have that.
But beside the mental health background that I have, that I see what's going on, it's almost like these guys are in a trance. Like I wonder if it's the effect of the fentanyl. Is it the effect of the combination of drugs that are making them almost the violence coming out of them?
And not just that, it's probably what they see. You know, what do they see? I mean, it's a shame when you can think of children being immune to murder.
Yeah.
That's to even say that doesn't sound right to me.
No.
Children being immune to murder. Okay, pick it up and keep moving.
But there's no consequences. This guy, look at the other one in the subway that beat up that girl, and she lost the sight of one eye.
I bet you they let him out, didn't they?
Yeah.
That's what I'm
They
saying.
let him out,
They
and
let
he
him out.
committed another crime. The guy that was in McDonald's waving the machete all over the place, the hatchet. They let him out,
We don't have smart.
and then he went. They let him out, and he robbed somebody's $400 bike.
We don't have smart people to do. You know, the easiest way to do something is to put everybody in a box and say if it goes this way, everybody gets this, which is not the right way to do things. Which they don't want to do their job and isolate each incident based on its activity. So it's easy to just put everybody in a bunch of everything and say everybody did this, you go here.
Because you know what,
We don't need that no more.
I tell you what, I look at the crime and they'll say, in the Hispanic community, we got a lot of crime going on down here in the Hispanic community.
All over.
You don't hear jack shit about it.
I guess too much crime from
No,
the
no,
other
the-
nationalities.
When was the last time you heard about a crime happening in the Spanish community?
I haven't. I
The
haven't, so I gotta
hijacking, the
admit I haven't.
hijacking on Lehigh, Kensington Lehigh, Front and Lehigh, where's the gas station on on Front and Lehigh? There's a gas station next to the supermarket. There's another gas station. Second and Lehigh. All the hijackers that nobody's saying anything.
Because if you didn't say this, I wouldn't know what's happening. It's not on the news. It's not on
No.
the news at all. I would never know it if you didn't say it.
You know, and the shootings that are going on down here.
Nobody knows.
There's times when we're sitting here in this studio and we hear the shooting.
And and it's in the daytime too.
Daytime.
And nobody mentions it.
The lady that got hit by the two young kids that went on the joyride right outside here and killed her.
They were not the cops.
Nobody says anything. 2300 block of Fayhill Street. They had day before yesterday, they had a shooting going on. It sounded like the Wild Wild West. Okay, as I was driving by. I stood there, not one cop showed up. The people just, after all the shooting, one guy was hurt, somebody threw him in a car, they took him out. And it was like, oh, yeah, what was the shooting about? Yeah, it was right over there. What was it about? I don't know.
It's normalized. But people, you see how people accepted that? Like you said, somebody threw them in the car, took them to the hospital. That's the normal procedure. And then everybody go back to normal. Until you get shot. You know,
Yeah.
that's where it goes.
But the weirdness is, you ever watch the series on TV, Star Trek? No, Star Wars. When they walk into the bar and they get into some altercation and one of the characters gets their arm cut off and the other one gets shot and killed and everybody stops. They drag the thing out and then everybody just goes right back to where it was at again.
Well,
That's what's happening here.
People are conditioned to that. People are being conditioned to accept this as the normal. This is the normal.
Right.
But we know it's not the normal, and it shouldn't be the normal.
No, it's not normal.
So we have
It's
people.
scary.
We have people really, if you think about making laws for our community, that don't know a damn thing about our community.
Rite Aid's on 2nd and Lehigh. You the most what? Yeah.
Over and over and over.
Oh, now they don't fill up the shelves. They don't fill up the shelves. If you need something from there, they have the cardboard picture in some places, and you got to go up, and then they go get you the item.
Oh, God.
Because what's happening is they're walking in with bags, and they're just filling up the bags.
And take whatever they want.
And no, but they're told you can't stop them, you can't do nothing, because unless it's $1,000 or $900 worth of merchandise, they don't prosecute them. The DA will not prosecute unless it's a certain amount of money.
So nobody sees the real suffering. If they move that out in the neighborhood, the elderly and the people who need their medications will not have access to this place.
In the riots here, they burnt all that places down there. They destroyed everything. Nobody even bothered saying anything about it in our community. The Spanish community is so underserved here. There's particular organizations, groups, and stuff like that make some money. And down here, the poor get a turkey on Thanksgiving, and that's it.
So basically, they take all the funding of the resources that's supposed to go
Yeah,
in the
they give them a
community,
little something here
and they keep it
You
for
know,
themselves, or
yeah.
they disperse it among
They'll
the
come
people.
out and say, "Come on, I'm gonna do your light heap for you," and the seniors go there and they fill out their light heap and their rent rebates.
Which is a small
and-
percentage of people in the community.
Yeah.
When, if you have a situation of poverty in a community, and you have leaders over that community, and you still have a situation of poverty in that community with no improvement, then you have the wrong leaders. But people need to understand that they have to pick their leaders and not have leaders picked for
No.
them.
Listen. You got here. We just had an election, right?
Mm-hmm.
You had
call it
Fetterman
that?
come
Okay.
down here, right? Fetterman came through here. Did he come through here? No.
I didn't see him come through here.
There was no politician. One politician came through here was Drew Williams. Drew Murray.
Yeah, Drew Murray.
Drew Murray was the only one that came through here. Every time they come down here, they say, "Oh, we went to the Spanish community. We were at Kensington." Well, I got news for you.
Big part of Kensington.
Kensington ain't the Spanish community. They never came to the Golden Block. They never came to Front Street. They never went to Allegheny. They didn't do shit.
So they never went to the Spanish community.
No, and Fetterman didn't really. He didn't even have to run. He could have just stayed home, because nobody knows who the guy is. They call him the bald-head. They go, "Kaki pelao." That's what they call him down here.
Well, what else?
So what did you vote for him? I don't know. Well, he's the Democrat. Well, what's he gonna do for you? None of them do anything. Well, why did you vote for him?
Why you keep?
He's a Democrat.
Are you insane? Is that what it is? Insanity?
But that's Danny. Am I lying? Oz was never down here. Oz was in Kensington. He went to Allegheny once or twice, same flat, and then they took him to
But
Kensington.
he never came to your community.
He
came
never
to you.
went to the Spanish community.
Wow. So how was he?
Neither did Fetterman.
Well, how were they reaching out to the Spanish people for their vote then?
They wouldn't. They play the same shit the Republicans always do. They come in, they get the vote, they make promises, they leave. And the Democrats don't have to do anything because the people vote for the same person. Come on. We voted for Angel Cruz, no, Ortiz, for 11
Oh, he was
years,
always
10,
there.
11 years. He was through here. He helped pass the bill that was taking the cars away from people when they stopped them, when they had no registration,
remember that.
no driver's license.
Yeah.
If you,
Boot
one
and
item
tow,
you didn't
yeah.
have, they took your car.
Yeah, they towed your car.
Okay?
Yeah.
And the son of a bitch was driving around in a city car on city gas without a driver's
He
license.
didn't have a driver's license. I remember that.
Got busted on a Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
It came out on the news on Friday. Monday morning, he walked in. He pulled up with a city car and a driver's license.
I remember that very well. And did he even get a slap on the hand?
And then nothing. Okay. And then the next election, they voted him in again.
Mm-hmm. So like a Marion Barry, huh?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how much you smoke. They'll
No.
still take you. It's like, it's not, I want to say it's unbelievable, but since I'm witnessing this in my lifetime, I cannot say it's unbelievable. I could just say it's like shocking in a way. Because growing up the way we grew up, the world was a totally different world. Totally different world. This is another world that we're in.
Listen, I grew up, when I was in the Bronx and grew up here, we had an argument or difference of opinion. We stand out here, we got a free on between two guys, and we punch it out.
Have a fair one.
And what do you call it?
Had a fair one.
A fair one?
That
Yeah. And we punch it out, and then we look at each other and we laugh at each other, and we go get a beer, and we sit back, and that was it. It was over.
New day.
New day. And there's times when it was one corner. Well, I was never a gang guy kind of guy, but if we hung up and we played handball, 4 or 5 of us, and somebody came down, 4 or 5 people, and then well, you bring your best out, we'll send our best out, and we just make sure it's a fair fight.
Mm-hmm. That was the way that the
And that
world
was it.
Now,
Until everybody started carrying knives, and that's the worst thing with Puerto Ricans. We all had knives.
well, I think it's even worse now with guns because
Now it's guns.
you can't.
That's
Get a
kind of
gauge.
stigma, but I used to always carry a knife, and my friends carried a knife.
Yeah, you had to.
Yeah, now I graduated. Now I carry Glock.
Well, there you go.
I'm too old.
You're
I'm too
in the
old.
new world.
I'm too
You're
old.
in the new world, and you're ready for the
I'm
new
too
world.
old. I'm too old. I'm not gonna sit here and
Yeah.
fight you with a.
Yeah,
I'm
you
too old and too slow. I need help now.
And you're not the only one that has that. There's so many people out here that probably didn't want to carry, but the times are so horrible now that they have to carry.
You have to.
And they don't even understand what a situation is going to be when they actually have to get into one.
Well, the thing is that it's getting so bad out here, and it's getting to be normal. Kids seeing people overdose. You drive around, you see people with the needles in their arms and the things going on, and it gets bad. But we're gonna get into, now that we led into that, we're gonna take a break, and then we're gonna get into how the lies that both parties are doing to us, and that's gonna be fun, because we got so much that they're lying about. And this two-party system has got to end. But we're going to go on break. Grab yourself a cup of coffee. Please come back, because I told you I have my boy Lindwood here with me, and it's just fun hanging with him because we go back and forth. But I see you in 30 seconds.
Hey parents, kids like us have a problem, and it's one that you can help solve.
But most parents aren't even aware the problem exists.
Here's the issue. Most schools today aren't teaching young kids some really important concepts, like how the economy works, or what our rights are, or the definition of true laws.
Back before you were born, schools often taught the principles of a free society.
But not anymore. That's why our parents have us read
The
Tuttle
Tuttle
Twins. These books teach children about economic and civic truths that we need to learn, and there's nothing else like them in the world.
Each book covers a different topic, helping us learn how the world really works.
For example, these books teach kids things like how the free market is the key to prosperity, the history of the money we use, what our rights are and why we should protect them, how kids can be entrepreneurs.
I definitely want to be my own boss someday, and these books will help.
Kids like us absolutely love these books. Maybe because they don't treat us like little children. Instead, they help us learn important ideas and develop critical thinking skills.
Chances are your kids are missing out on learning these things, especially in a way that's fun and enjoyable for the whole family.
And even better, when you buy this set, you also get the awesome activity workbooks for free.
Now listen, there are a lot of crazy ideas out there, and you need to prepare your kids.
Yeah, if you want to raise a free thinker, you're gonna need something that teaches about freedom.
So purchase your books now.
But be careful, your kids will learn ideas that many adults don't even understand.
It makes for some really interesting dinner conversations. Those kids are cute, but I bet yours are cuter.
And imagine how much they'll enjoy the books. So what are you waiting for? Click the link and grab your set.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. We're going to have another segment here with Freedom, Not Tyranny. I got my boy Lindwood here with me, and we're going to continue talking. Now we're going to shift a little bit from crime to deception to white-collar crimes to just outright lies. Lies from both parties, the gaming that's going on. And let's get to you and tell you a little bit about what's going on. Because you know,
It's corrupt.
there is no two parties.
No, it's one party.
It's one uniparty.
One party system.
My boy always tells me it's a uniparty.
It's a uniparty.
Actually, it's Brian, right? Brian always called it a uniparty. And the fictitious person that everybody thinks doesn't exist. You know what I'm talking about?
It doesn't exist.
Yeah, they say, oh, he ain't real. You always mention his name.
Oh, me.
Oh, that's Danny. You know, they wonder if Danny's gonna be and our boy in
exists.
Washington. Jacob. You know how many calls I get after I mention Jacob's name? They say Jacob isn't real. Jacob they used to say it was a figment of my imagination. Someday I'm gonna bring Jacob here. Jacob here with his farmer pants and his pig fork.
Will they be ready for Jacob?
Nobody's ever gonna be ready for
Okay,
Jacob.
all right.
And if you can't get ready for Jacob, you ain't never gonna get ready for Brian.
Oh well.
You know, those are two characters that we've had them both on here at the same time, and I think that's part of what got started Danny getting gray.
Double trouble, huh?
Yeah, that's something else. But my boy Jacob, I love him just like I love Brian. And boy, I tell you, when you put them both in one room, you better be ready. Woo!
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Because I know you ask a lot of people a question being a host. Can anybody tell you the definitive difference between being a Democrat and a Republican? Or can you define what the definitive difference is?
What it's supposed to be, the Democrats are more of a liberal group of people, supposedly, who go extremely on the other side. Like, for example, abortions at 9 months. People who are gay, which I have no problem. You know, they're sailors during a certain time with mustache and hairy legs, and then they come into work one day because they feel that way, and they wear a skirt and a dress, you know. But, yeah, they're trying to teach your kids. The Democrats kind of go extreme. They've taken the liberty piece, and they kind of lost it. They lost themselves in their own game.
Yep.
You know, and then the Republicans have gotten to the other extreme, where, you know, some of them are so stuck they kind of remind me of Protestants.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the old Protestants where the women, it could have been 2 feet of snow out there, but they couldn't wear pants.
Right.
And they can't wear socks.
Right.
And the
So
dress
you
had to be at
freeze
their
up.
ankle.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So to me, we've lost them. But somehow, when it comes to Washington and Harrisburg, they become one. You know, and I think about the Republicans and the Democrats. When I think about them, I think about the worm and it turns into a butterfly.
Oh, the caterpillar to the
Yeah, the
butterfly.
caterpillar.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Turns into a butterfly. That's kind of like they go in as a caterpillar, and that's the Democrat. It comes out a Republican flying.
Well, they go pretty fast. I mean, it's not a short process, you know.
It's all one group.
It's one fraternity, and people are being fooled by one fraternity who is able to divide people based on some people getting some good qualities and some people getting good qualities on the other side. Now, why can't one person have all those qualities, good qualities from both sides?
But they do. They're
Right, they
all
do.
rich.
But this is the
AOC
divide.
AOC passed I don't know how many bills. Last I looked, they were all libraries that she renamed, and then she added her name to other bills. But what she got passed herself, I believe, most of what I saw were libraries being changed. So if she changed 4 libraries, she's already worth probably $1.5 to $2 million
Well, that's personal wealth, but that wealth should be going
that
back
she
into
gained after she
Right.
came in there.
and she
All the perks.
she gained that based on working for the people that she said she would represent in New York.
No.
So that money should go.
She got
to
a lot
them.
of perks that
Yeah.
she did to get that over the million and a half hump.
So she wouldn't have had that.
She wasn't
If
worth
she
that. She was a
wasn't-
bartender.
Right. So she wouldn't have never had that had she not get elected by the people in her community who were not reaping any of the benefits of that. Right.
But that's politics. That's
Right.
that happens here in Philadelphia. In North Philadelphia, you got the 2-3 representatives that are Spanish speaking here. You got Maria, God bless her, because I know she wasn't feeling well, and my prayers always with her. And she just stepped down. Okay? And then you got Angel, who, when he first went in there, used to hang out in my office. All right? And we kind of helped him do a lot of things, even though we were Republicans, because he was running. He was a cool guy. I go to Angel's office now, he won't even talk to me.
The truth hurts.
Yeah, he won't even talk to me now.
The truth hurts. Yeah.
You know, but he didn't have a problem when I had events and he was first, the very first time he ran. Now he doesn't. And then you got Dario, Daniel. Now I gotta tell you, out of everybody I know, I like Dario. He seems that he tries to do what he can.
I like him. I really like him.
You
I
know?
mean, he helps the community that he's
Yeah.
in, and
tries.
he helps the community that he's not in.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's one of the different type of politicians that
Yeah.
values people and wants to help them. So,
And then
he's
we got
really good.
we got David O, who I call him David O Otis. You know, because he you know, he's kind of Republican, but he's really Democrat, but he's really Asian, but he's really Hispanic, but he's, you know. So I call him David O Otis. Yeah, but that's it. I mean, we just had the elections here, and we know what happened in the elections. Now, nobody came down in our community, you know. And I think, to me, that was done purposely.
I'm going to agree with you on that.
It was done purposely.
I think
They
so.
didn't want, for some reason, the Republican Party does not want to give the respect that the Hispanic community deserves.
And Dave, in talking about that, I can tell you what I honestly believe, that had that happened the way you've seen it, I think we would have had a Republican congressman coming out of the state of Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Because
Not only
you
Congress,
need all
we would have
hands
had a
on deck.
senator.
I mean, you need all hands on deck to do that.
It could have been done here because we had a lot of people switch, but we had a lot of Democrats who were willing to work to get to vote for him. But again, they took Oz, they put him in this cocoon, okay, and they made sure that he got as far as Kensington and then Allegheny, and they did not take him to the Golden Block. They did not take him to Front Street. They took him. They didn't go into the community to see where the Hispanics are really at.
So do you think that could be twofold? His campaign team, are they unexperienced or don't have a clue?
This also happened when we had Wagner.
Mm-hmm.
We had our first office on 5th and York
Okay.
that we put up on that campaign. It was Wagner, and it was, who was the other one that was with Wagner? I forget his name. Anyway,
What was
Wagner,
running for Congress?
he was running for Senate. Wagner was running for governor.
Was it Fitzpatrick or Toomey?
I think it might have been Toomey. I remember who it was. But, dude, they never came to 5th and York. They didn't go nowhere near the Hispanic. It's like down here, the Hispanic have a plague. You know, don't go down there because you might come out urging for to eat some rice and beans.
Well, I mean, they ultimately have to come down with a plan.
No.
If you want to get new votes, you're going to have to
But
come
they
up with
don't
something.
want to get new votes.
Yeah.
It's almost like this community is given to the Democrats, and the Republicans have made this deal.
Yeah.
We're not going to go into your territory. You don't come into ours.
Sounds like it's adding up to 1 and 1 equal 2.
Yeah.
But the Hispanic community is the one that pushed the votes.
But the Spanish, if they really cared about the Spanish community, the Republican Party, and I'm going to get deeply into this at the next quarter of our show, they would have been here.
Well, they should have been here. There's no doubt about that.
They would have been here.
They should have
The
been here.
Republicans do not give a shit about the Spanish community, and the Democrats don't have to do anything because if you go out there right now, go out there and you pick the person and ask them if they voted, and as soon as you find the person that voted, ask them what the two things that they passed in the
You
law
said
was.
as soon as I find a person that voted, does that mean I'm going to have to look long?
Yeah,
To find a person
you're
that
you're
really-
gonna go through a
that's-
few people before you get. I mean, a lot of the Hispanics
no, but
do
that's
vote.
sad, though. That's sad.
Well, look what they did.
But if you don't giving people
Dude,
anything-
they voted. The Democrats down here voted on the ballots, and they kept Fetterman away. And you know what? It's nothing to do with his illness or his stroke. Why do you have to have a guy run who you know,
Can't
if
do
he has 2 debates,
Yeah.
he would have looked like shit.
Yeah.
Okay? But you don't have to. Anybody running for Democrat doesn't have to run.
So it's easy for me to say, this is out of my mouth, that you can fool a lot of the people all the time.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are still getting fooled by the rhetoric that they're putting out there. And they play with people's emotions, and these people don't see through it. They don't see through it. They're playing with people's emotions. Anytime you hear the Democrats,
But they don't
read out-
have a choice. Because the Republicans are not doing what they need to do. They haven't never done anything to deserve the Spanish community.
They might be rhinos.
They are. But the GOP doesn't care about the Spanish community.
Well, they only care about making the deals that benefit them.
Yeah.
And it's pretty evident in the elections. I mean, if you haven't won an election in umpteen years,
Listen,
You ain't doing it.
Maria was in office for, I don't know, 15 years. Okay? Angel has been in office at least more than 10 years. Okay? And you got Daniela, and again, Daniela does work in the community, okay? You got a congressman. Go out there right now, and I'm going to give you $1 for everybody could tell you who the congressman is in this area.
I'd probably be broke them. Because you're not going to give me no more dollars.
No.
because we're not going to find anybody to fit that.
They don't know
description.
who the congressman is down here.
And we can go. Do they know who the council person is?
No,
Committee
they don't.
person?
Yeah, it's because
Okay,
it's,
because
it's a Spanish person. So
Okay, yeah.
everybody's going to vote for that person simply because he's Spanish.
Okay.
He could screw the shit out of the community.
But because he's Spanish
And
representative.
then the ward leaders control who they're going to help.
So this is a deep structure that's probably got to be torn apart.
No, you got to show them you care.
Well, I'm
Do
saying
something.
we got to show people that it shouldn't be two parties. It should be one party.
It is one party.
But I'm saying we got to show them that it should be their party, their one party, not the party where they pick the person
You
that's
know,
picked.
I tell people, you know, in the primary, and I explain to them what the primary is. In the primary, you pick who you want to run for your party. And in November, you pick the one from the debates that you think is better. But how could you pick the one for your debates when the Democrats don't put that candidate up to debate?
Because they already picked
And
their
he's going to
candidate.
win.
They
And
picked
then
him.
when they put him up to debate, he could be the dumbest jerk in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to win because the ballots already went in.
Well, he
And then the
doesn't.
Democrats are voting for him because that's the only one they know.
Well, then people have to
Because
get.
the Republicans don't bring the candidate to the community.
People have to understand the real meaning of your peers, people who represent your community. Once they get that down pat, they'll be all right. Because how can Fetterman represent your community if he never came to visit your community?
Fetterman won't know where the Golden Block is or any damn thing else.
But
he'll
yet-
call the ward leaders, and the ward leaders tell him where it's at. You think Fetterman knows where Orkney Street is?
You hit it on the nose, Dave, because I always say, you mean in all these years, we can't win an election? The only election we won for a Republican was Martina White, but we can't win for nobody else. How about you can't win unless you go in to win?
Yeah, but Martina White didn't need the Hispanic vote. And I'm gonna tell you, when Martina was in office, okay, she did try her best to help you out.
Oh yeah, no doubt about
Okay,
it.
there's no. I'm gonna tell you right now. Out of all the people around, I could take Martina out. I could take Bill Heaney out.
Well, you know, the Republican
Okay.
Party is still run by. She was part of the new face of the Republican Party, which was all inclusive, I believe. At some point, you might not have that existing the way. You might still have some of the good old boys that feel as though they want to run it the way they want to run it again.
Yeah. I mean, and they're gonna make their side deals.
Well,
let's look at what's happening with Biden. Okay, now let's look on the student loans alone.
Promises.
Okay, the student loans alone. This is a bold-faced lie.
They're gonna get them.
They lied to the students, knowing that they didn't have the power for him to sign a bill saying that he was going to pay for their college debt.
But he could give Ukrainians money.
Yep, no, but that's a whole different story.
Yeah.
But he knows he didn't have it.
Right.
And the Democrats keep going with it. He puts the bill through right before the election, but he lied to the students. And the Republicans know that he didn't have a power to do that, that it had to be something that Congress voted for and passed.
Why didn't they say something?
They didn't say nothing.
That's
Because
what
the
I mean.
deal's already made.
That's what I mean. They're in.
It's one party.
They're not into helping any more than the other side is.
He's had two, and it's up now. Danny's got it up. He's had, this is the second judge
Blocked it.
that blocked it because he doesn't have the authority to do it. And they're still, till today, saying the Democrats want to give the students this loan. He has the authority to do it, but the Republicans won't. So now the students are up in the arms thinking, oh, man, the Republicans suck, so we're going to vote for Fetterman.
Yeah. And it's such a knee-jerk reaction because remember they were in You get 20,000, you get 10,000, then
Right.
you're out. You can't get it, and then people put their applications in already. So it's like jerking them around.
you had nobody like. Why didn't you go out and put a news thing up and say, listen, the law is X, Y, Z. This is the way it works. You got to get Congress to vote on it. They didn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
So the Republicans know, and they're playing the same game.
Yeah.
Mitch McConnell, the guy is as old as Biden.
All in the same game.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
They're riding the same horse.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Mitch McConnell, Biden. They've been around. And who's making all the money? Mitch McConnell and Biden.
Mm-hmm. See, that's what people have to look at it. It's the business of using you to do their business. And people have to
They're
wake
getting
up.
rich. AOC, you can't blame her.
But even they,
That little hot tamale running around Congress. Okay?
They made her that. They made her that.
But the system made her.
They made her that. Made her star.
She
before
sits
even
there
did
and
anything.
cries victim and says that she's being abused and they're treating her bad. She ain't poor no more. She made millions. She's been there for 2 terms and she's worth more now than she's ever been worth.
Well, it's safe to say she won't be going back to waitressing, right?
She ain't going back to waitressing.
So she's got enough money to hire some waitresses. right
And they
now.
give her all kinds of gifts.
But this is what I'm
The
saying.
electric car, the money, the books and the
But-
magazines that she's been in.
I say why?
And then she walks around with a dress that says, something for the poor.
I'm saying why are these people not brought up on bribery charges? Because they are making deals for people that don't even affect their community and getting rich off of it, but at the same time saying they're representing their
All right.
community.
Well,
It's
let's
bribery.
take it a little deeper. FTX, you remember them?
Mm-hmm.
FTX just got busted. That's the FTX has the young man who in Biden's he has the Ripty coins.
The Bitcoins.
Yeah,
And,
he has that program with coins.
so
Okay,
it's,
and all the stock.
Oh.
Now when Biden was running, here he is at the FTX. He put up $10 million for Biden's campaign. He's the largest, the only one larger than him donating money to the Democratic Party is Stars. Okay,
that's a lot of money to donate.
but this guy put $10 million just in Biden's.
That's a lot of money.
$38 million in this election,
In the midterms, right?
in the midterms, for the Democrats. Now, check this out. Here he is. Bankman. Okay? He has donated so much money, but he's ripped people off. Now, after the midterms, he claimed bankrupt.
Wow. What happened to all his money? He wants it back, huh?
Not only the money that he made, but the people that invested in FTX.
Mm.
Their money is gone. And who got money?
Sam.
Sam's got money. The Democratic Party got money. Because he said he was doing it with all parties to make sure that it was fair. He wasn't donating to the Republican Party. 97% of the money he donated went to Democrats. $38 million. Now, all the people that lost their IRAs, their retirement money, the investments into FTX, they lost out. They're waiting to see how they're going to get their money back. They went there and there was no funds. But check out what's going on here that's being discovered. Okay? You got Biden sending money to Ukraine in the billions, okay? Ukraine buys stock and invests in FTX. FTX turns around and takes that money and donates it to the Democratic Party. If that's not a Ponzi scheme, what is?
That is a Ponzi scheme. Follow the dollars, you'll always find out
Follow
where
the
it
money.
leads to. And it's going to lead back to where it started at.
But again, this didn't come out in public until after the elections went through.
And it's probably not even in its fullest either. They probably gave you, you know, the parts that they thought you could handle, and the parts that they think you didn't.
They
not
this
telling.
the Biden administration and the Biden family are the dirtiest group you can find. And now he's going to have 87,000 IRS armed people with badges and guns and handcuffs
Locking
to
us
do
up.
what?
Locking us up.
Locking us up. Who said that the IRS has the authority to arrest anybody?
It's wicked. It's wicked. I mean, we have wicked
This
people.
man is getting to be like Hitler.
How about he already might be like him?
Biden, to me, is just as bad as Hitler. He's getting right there. The only thing he doesn't have yet is the concentration camps.
They might be available because they've been doing a lot of
It's
different
getting there.
places. Yeah, it's like we don't want to find that out after the fact. We need people to investigate this kind of stuff right now and find out. I mean, they got coffins. I remember that when Obama was in office. And I'm saying, what are all these coffins for? You know, then they have the desolate
This
camps for people.
we
What are they going to be for?
We are at a what? $31 trillion debt, right? $31 trillion, right?
Might
That's
be
our
more.
debt. Our debt, our national debt, $31 trillion. Now, check it out. $31 trillion. Do you know how many millions are in $1 trillion?
I know the number, and now you got me off guard because I was reading that.
Do you know,
I want
Danny?
to say somewhere around 100 million billion.
100 million
Billion.
millions. It's 100
100
million millions in
is
1
1
trillion.
Yeah,
Okay?
because it's 100 million.
Which
in 1
if
billion.
you stack up the money, the bills,
Mhm.
it's shit. I found out. I did this with Jacob this morning. By the time you stack up the $31 trillion, it can go around. If China called in the debt, 31 trillion. If you stack it up, can go around the planet 70 times.
That means it'll go fast.
I mean,
Yeah.
if China decides to call in their debt, we're screwed.
Well, I think that was the reason why Biden and Xi met this week, and they met today.
And you trust Biden?
discuss-
He made a deal for his son somewhere out there.
Well, he probably did, but I'm saying he knows the
Come
impact.
on, man.
Right now, I think he's looking at how can I win re-election. You know, their ego is there.
She could sit there and tell Biden, bend over so I could smack that pale ass, and
Mm-hmm.
Biden will bend over.
Probably right now because he wants to be reelected. So I
Even
think he's
if
going to do
before
anything.
that, they are so involved with them.
Mhm.
I'm telling you, if he pulled out a paddle and told Biden to bend over, Biden is going to bend over so he can smack that ass.
Well, you can look at our energy policies compared to theirs, and you could say that is exactly true.
You know what? Show them how much money both parties spent in the midterm election.
Record spending.
Hmm?
A record spending amount.
Between both of them, look at that.
Mm.
3.9 billion and
8.5
4.6 billion.
8.5 billion total combined. That's a lot.
That's
of
a lot
money.
for a midterm election.
And that's not even.
And people say, "Well, why would somebody want to spend that kind of $1 million, $11 million? It's all taxpayers' money donated, okay?
And then-
Why would they want to spend that? Why would AOC want to spend $3 million to run for a job that's paying 170? Because
Get ready to
our
go.
little hot tamale now is worth a couple $1 million.
And she's in the pocket or in the good eyes of some people who need deals done when they need them done.
You know, you can't blame her. She's using what she got, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
crime is rampant, running
It's
crazy, and
horrible. Look at the crime is so bad. Biden didn't talk to Chi about the fentanyl coming over. Didn't talk to Chi about covert. Didn't talk to Chi about the trade that's was unfair.
No, he didn't.
They control everything we're doing. He stopped our oil production. In New York City, we had a guy that got busted with 20 keys of fentanyl pills and was released by the judge
Without bail.
without bail
How can that happen?
on R&R.
This is a different world we live in, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because he would have been under the prison for a crime like that if we had DAs that prosecuted.
But don't you remember a few weeks ago, wasn't it, that fentanyl was considered a weapon of mass destruction?
Declared by the
He
administration itself, right?
Yeah, by the Biden administration.
Yeah.
But this man was let out.
Mm-hmm.
3,000 people die a day of fentanyl overdose.
But he's got a job.
She was smacked that pale ass, and the Biden can't do nothing about it.
Well, you know, I think it's going to be that situation where, you know, we're living in a world, do as I say and not as I do. And we see that happening right now.
Yeah.
And until we make people understand the difference of them, we're probably going to keep going down
It's
this
going to
path.
keep going. But we're going to go into one more commercial break. We're going to come back, or we're going to keep going? But I got to make my announcement.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
What is this announcement you're going to make, Dave? I'm curious. I mean, you got me on pins and needles here.
my announcement is that as of today, I'm giving up the ward. I'm leaving the Republican Party. And no, I'm not going to the Democrats. I'm going independent. And come January, we are going to launch our new program, which is going to be to move the Latinos up. Not to take anything away from anybody that has anything now. So I don't want my brothers and sisters to think, oh, he's coming after our jobs. Nope. I don't want my brothers and sisters, you know, from Ireland or whatever to think that I'm coming to take their job. What we're coming for in January is for our respect. We are not going to wait for the Republican Party to come in anymore and lie and use the votes, okay, and not walk through Fifth Street. They can kiss my ass. And we're not going to wait for the Democrats to keep taking advantage. So we're putting our own organization together, and I will be involved there. And I'm going to ask you to see if you want to be involved. But the idea is to go after, for example, we've had between Angel, Dario, and City Council, those are the three main people that we've had. You look at the trash department. When they're going around picking up trash, I want you to tell me when was the last time you saw a Hispanic picking up trash, making $20, $25 an hour.
I haven't seen it.
Because we don't exist there.
Shoot.
But we had people at City Council for how long?
Wow. That's not
Democrats has run this city for over 50 years.
Yeah.
We've had Angel, we've had Ben Ramos, we've had, I can go on and on and on. Maria, we don't have jobs. You go to pay a ticket and you don't speak English, you got to wait for an interpreter. You go to City Hall and see some of the offices, they don't have Hispanics working. I hate to say this because it's all brothers and sisters and the Caucasians.
Yeah, but that's not.
So
the
why
method.
do we have this representation? We might as well have somebody from Pluto in office for us, because what we have ain't getting a shit. You know how many federal contracts we have? None.
Wow. You know, These are
None.
things. These are things you have to go head on and get.
So I'm saying to my people out there that are not Hispanic, I'm not coming after your job. I'm coming after the respect that we deserve. And you're going to give it to us. You're going to get. We're not going to burn down buildings. We're not going to set police stations on fire. We're not going to knock over statues. We're going to take control of our vote. And you're going to give us the damn respect. We're going to put an immigration. We have an immigration bill. That's why we're not waiting until January. We have an immigration bill that we're finishing up. We have several programs that we got beside the immigration bill. We're going to be fighting to end the two-party system monopoly.
Definitely.
Okay? We're going to look to bring back the $500,000 bill. Okay? We're changing. And you're not going to take advantage of our people anymore.
And you got so many people out here that are bright
We
and
got
awake.
we got business people, we got workers, we got barbershops, we got everything out there, and you're gonna give us that damn respect whether you like it or not. Because if we organize ourselves enough, you can't get an election won. You think they're gonna give us a Hispanic mayor?
They're not going to give you anything.
You
have
think
to
we're gonna
take
get
it.
a Hispanic governor?
You have to take it. You have to get the people.
But
and
we're going to take it because you got to get the people to understand that the Democrats going to keep giving the Hispanics mental health clinics,
They don't help.
a bunch of prescriptions,
They're not going to help.
the worst education system,
Definitely not going to help.
okay? That's what we got. But we got pride. We got people who will work.
Well, you know, you got people in your community, and the economic development should be full speed ahead. That's the main thing in our communities. Your community, people need work. If people went to work, they'd take care of their family.
Well, we're going to fight for it. We're going to fight for it. And you either with us, even if you're not Hispanic, and if you get upset that we're coming after, remember, we're not coming after your job. We're coming to what we should have.
Right. You're part
Okay?
of this
You
makeup.
think woke is making a problem for you? We're going to be a bigger problem. Because guess what? If it isn't for the immigrants that are here, that ain't going nowhere, let's face it.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have vegetables to eat.
Mm-hmm.
Because ain't nobody in this inner city,
Picking no vegetables.
Hispanics, no, they're not.
You know it. I know it.
When was the last time you had somebody black, other than when they were in the cotton field, going down to pick up tomatoes down here?
They ain't going to pick no tomatoes up. They not going to get it.
Shit,
It's
you
not
brothers
gonna happen.
ain't returning back to no fields.
Nobody's-
You no.
Nobody's
Forget
doing that.
reciprocity. You guys ain't going back to no cotton fields.
No fields. You know, they only fields they got us on is the football fields and the baseball fields right now. But
That's it.
As far as them other fields, they can cancel them days. They will not exist.
You guys ain't going
again.
nowhere near
No,
them.
no.
But think
I
about it.
understand. It's the, you know, the thing that people don't understand. There has to be some mutual respect. Everybody lives in this city. Everybody's trying to get ahead. As
Not
soon
in our
as we
area.
stop, but as soon as we stop, like trying to, you know, pull people down instead of lift them up, I think we can make an edge here. And it comes from our people. I mean, I remember growing up, and I could go in any Spanish neighborhood. I don't care. They were together 100%. 110% they was together.
No.
I mean, now we've seen a breakdown of that with the system of destroying families.
Yeah.
We've seen that
Family
take place.
nucleus, yeah.
We have to get some strength to get these families back in order again. Once we get that, because kids don't even know their parents.
No.
Even some living in the house with the parents, or the parents don't know the kids.
Or the parents
either.
become their best friends.
Yeah, which is hard to be a parent when you. I mean, it's not hard to be a parent and be a friend, but you got to know which one trumps
There's
the
got
other.
to be a level of
Yeah.
the parent here, the
Yeah.
friendship here. But yeah, I'm moving away. Come January, and each week after next week, we're gonna be giving you more resources so you can find out more about what's going on, what we're doing, and we're gonna be able to work with you. Okay,
let's
so
work.
stay tuned. That's the big thing. And yeah, I'm leaving the party.
Well, congratulations,
it.
because it's going to be their loss.
This is it. I'm
It's gonna be
done.
their loss.
Please pay attention, people. Pass the word on that we will start our new organization. I know we ran over a little bit of time here, but
Yeah.
it was important that we talked about a few things that are out there. And I'll see you next Tuesday, and we're going to have little spurts here and there with Danny to explain to you more about our organization that's coming. Love you guys. Thanks for coming out, my man.
Thank you. Thanks for being here.
Take care. Hello and welcome, everyone, to Freedom, Not Tyranny. I'm your host, David Torres. This is a show about you, about your rights, your freedom. A different show. A show about big government versus little government. A show about your Second Amendment rights. A show about your freedom, your rights to vote. A show that involves how to keep yourself independent. Your rights to do what you feel is necessary for you and your family. This is what this show is all about. I hope you enjoy it. Freedom, not tyranny.